There are many things that I have been wanting to cultivate as a habit. Two habits I wanted to share that I feel I have not still succeeded, but I wanted to just share my journey. If it may take 1, 2, or 3 minutes, Anbu, I will just say that, right? One is micro learning. That is a habit that I wanted to cultivate. I think I have not succeeded in that. The second thing I wanted to do was for the last couple 2 3 years I wanted to listen to the hymns, scriptures, some of the things that I have been learning from the religious standpoint. There are quite few things to do that I have. This is video podcast, many different kind of methods are there, so I wanted to do at least 20 minutes of that every day. I would say both of these things, 80 to 90 percentage, I am able to do it like every day, but as a routine. But then it is still not to me coming as a becoming a habit. That's what I feel. So that these are the two things I wanted to share. Habit is something that needs to be in my mind, a ritual that needs to be routinized, doing every day, which eventually becomes a habit. As an example for me, getting up from the bed, folding the the bed sheet, the blanket, keeping it all fine is a ritual that I do. And this has come from, like, the days when I have been raised like that. Our family, all of us do that, right? The second one is for me, it is a habit for me, correct? You can't change it. I go anywhere, I will do that. Now another thing is, I get up, I take bath, and then I go to the puja room, and I do, like 2 3 seconds or 2 3 minutes of whatever I do, and I do that namaskar. Correct? So this is a ritual, became a routine, and it is a habit for me. You can't change it. Anywhere I go, I do that. Right now, in this sequence, for me, the two things that I told is a habit that I have not been able to cultivate. Comes from a ritual to routine to habit for me in my mind.
So there are many habits that I want to build that I'm not able to build. It's very hard to do them consistently. I do them and then I sort of give up for whatever reason. I'll give you a couple of examples. One is, I want to do more volunteering. I do on occasion. As you know, I'm associated with the art of living, and that means that I'm also in a very important role for the art of living. So that necessitates that I actually volunteer, which I do to a certain extent, but I do it in sort of like lumps, right? So, like, for example, this event that happened with Gurudev coming to Chennai, I put on a lot of effort, a lot of work, all of that stuff, right? But then in normal times like right now, I don't do it. And it's something that's very deeply meaningful to me. I want to do it. It's not like I don't want to do it, but I can't find myself, bringing myself to do it basically. And it's deeply frustrating to me, actually. This is one. I would like to teach more, especially around knowledge, right? I'd like to teach more. I love teaching. I think I can teach well. I can engage people well, but I don't teach. I mean, it broadly applies, right? Not just knowledge. For example, Sukumar has asked me, hey, why don't you share your insights on LinkedIn and all that stuff? It's not like I don't want to do it. I do want to do it, but somehow I've not been able to bring myself to do it. And so those are two examples, and there are several other examples that I can go on. Recently, off late, something that's deeply frustrating to me, my meditation habit has gone away. I'm trying to get back to it. I was very, very regular with it. For whatever reasons, right? Like this could be multiple reasons, and I'm kind of desperately trying to get back to it because I was gaining a lot from it. Off late, in the last 1 year, I'm kind of moving away from it more and more, and I'm desperately trying to get back to it. Again, these are all things I want to do. It's very super important to me, but I can't consistently do it, basically. There's some stubbornness about it. It's hard to figure out. the thing that I've noticed, and it's a sort of a fairly recent observation, is that when I'm whenever there is a structure that makes me obligated, I do it. For example, you know, this event, right? With Gurudev in Chennai, it's like I am obligated to do it. It's like the panic monster kicks in basically, right? Like I had to do it. I had to jump in. I am front and center. I have to be on stage. I have to do this thing, right? Otherwise, it's my thing, that sort of thing, right? So I'm deeply obligated to do it. And similarly, when I go to an advanced course in the ashram, yeah, there is a structure. I'm deeply obligated to do meditate. I do meditate. I actually have a wonderful experience, basically. I work better when I'm obligated to somebody or something that I respect, basically. Not any kind of obligation, but obligation specifically where, hey, I don't want to let down that person, or more importantly, I don't want to look like I'm not sort of keeping my end of the bargain, basically. This accountability, that accountability structure helps me. But then unfortunately, that comes in, like I said, right, once in a while, that sort of thing.
I mean, it might be like to do with this deadline thing, but I'm not sure. But I mean, in your case, it's completely
Yeah,
voluntary.
there is an
It's a
element of
voluntary.
deadline, but also there is, you can't escape it kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you're like locked into this thing. You better do something, otherwise it's not good. Basically, I don't like that feeling, right? Like just sitting and whatever. So I might as well do it right and there. I might as well do it. That sort of thing, basically. So there is deadline element in it. I'm not sure if it's all just deadline, basically.
The one very big challenge that I'm having is forming a habit and continuing it. Basically, the habit of continuing a habit is a problem for me. Like what happened was, like, I started this journaling again, like sometime in October, and I set a target, internal target, but at least I will do 3 journals in a week. So I was consistently was able to do it. When I took this accounting, like, okay, how am I doing that? I was like doing like fairly good, like around 4 or so. Then it stopped. And cycling also. Cycling is another thing. I mean, I started doing it every day. And the moment I looked at the record, it stopped. I'm feeling like, okay, there is a habit. I'm able to do it. The feeling of I'm able to do this habit. If I get that feeling, then I think I stop the habit. So I think I'm just trying to overcome that habit of checking or like, looking at that accounts of that habit. Maybe I'll be able to continue. That's one thing that I'm having the biggest challenge of continuing a habit, which I'm able to do it, but just not able to continue. I mean, maybe this looking at that record might be the reason, but something internally happening. I'm not sure what it is that's kind of causing this habit not to continue. So maybe the tiny demon is saying that, hey, you are able to do it, right? Okay, you move on to the next habit or something. You don't have to do. You can start anytime you want. That might be the. But I'm not hearing those inner voices. So tiny demon is silently sending some kind of communication, I guess.
I think the hardest thing for me was the work habit. So I tried to apply the tiny habits method and it didn't work. Right after powering the laptop, I will do something. All the triggers that we generally recommend, I tried. The only thing that I had reasonable success was with sales habit. So I formed a habit. In the morning, I'll open my calendar and put one entry to call someone. That seemed to work. I was able to make it work for a long, long time. But then it stopped. I couldn't make it work beyond a point. Then I came across this thing. I don't know, maybe Kumaran sent it, I don't remember. Interstitial journaling by Coach Tony. So he said that after every task, you should journal. So in April 2020 or so, I started. In fact, until then in the program, we used to call it check-in. So it's that idea of interstitial journaling that created the idea that we should call what we do We are actually journaling. We are not checking in, right? So that's how the Magic Spark also changed into journals from check-ins. That was powerful, but then I found over a period of time, it was just overwhelming. I do so many tasks a day, and after every task, I have to journal. That created a problem. And then I came across Gopika's work in done list journaling, which I think Kumaran posted an interview of her. So that gave me the inspiration to say, okay, let me do this done list journaling. And then I had a difficulty in finding a proper trigger for it. After a lot of trial and error, I found that just before I sleep, I will do the journal and then go to sleep. And then I found that I have been now at it for more than 3 years. Yeah, I miss 1 or 2 days in between, but mostly I have like 99% track record of doing that. The thing that I learned, which I want to tell all of you, is you start a habit, you start experimenting with something. At some point, you should have a clear why in your mind. And that why cannot be simply that this is important. For example, everybody knows that being healthy and fit is important. Why has to be formed. In the case of my done list journaling, the why became very clear to me because my productivity went from 120 tasks a month to now more than 200 tasks a month very easily. So I have literally doubled 225% increase in productivity. Just doing this increases productivity. Who would have thought? My finding is that we don't have a clear why for us to sustain the habit, and it's not easy to figure out the why. As I talk to many people, when I ask them why you should exercise, people mostly come with, I want to be healthy, I want to be fit, and everybody knows that. That doesn't seem to be a powerful enough why. So my recommendation is, if you are trying something out, make it stick for a while and then quickly figure out why you should do it, and that's very personal to you. Not because somebody said it or whatever, but you have your own personal why that fires you. And the test of that personal why is, on the day that you don't want to do it, is the personal why helping you do it on that day. Like I experienced it in the last 2 days. I have been in Coimbatore. I didn't do my done list journal. So yesterday I did it last night, just before I slept. The previous 3 days included. Because the why was powerful, I was able to do it. And one part of me was saying, hey, it is already 11:55 p.m., you go to sleep. But then this why helped me to.
Intentions, right? So, as Kumaran says. I think I have to tell this
So
more.
that intention thing has to be, in my opinion, intention is still somewhat of a high level. Be kind, be fit. Those are also intentions. But this has to be very, very personal. It will still be in the language of intention, but it will be very, very personal. It is so personal that it won't work for somebody else. It cannot copy it over from somebody, from what I have seen. Maybe there is a formula, but it doesn't seem apparent to me yet.
I'm done.
It's actually the other way around for me. We were told to be quiet as growing up and not disciplined children. So even school was even worse. Christian institution. Even we were told in the school, girls should be seen, not heard. You know, that's the environment I grew up in. So for me, it was so difficult to come out and open, especially when I joined CA. I hadn't even completed my degree. To be around so many senior people and that to all men, and to talk was very difficult. So I belong to the Ulta. For me, conversing with people is an effort. Socializing is an effort. It doesn't come naturally at all to me. I'd rather remain silent by myself, not even say hello to people. Just
For
the
me also,
opposite.
it was not natural. I've told, no, I didn't get selected in a campus interview. Group discussion, I was rejected. This is something which I built after I finished college, and I was jobless, roaming around in the streets trying to get a job, and I got a 1,500 rupee job. Adilend build pannadu. It's a artificial thing which I built. I mean, like, I was not born smoking, but I'm still addicted to smoking. I'm not a natural smoker.
Yeah,
So
but I'm
very
also not a
speaking.
natural speaker, but I make the effort. Come out, speak, present. I'd rather shy away. I'd rather be alone inside my house, not go out at all. Actually, that's what I prefer. That's my natural self. But what I'm doing now is against my nature. So see, I have fitnesses. I'm doing brain gym yoga every day, and then I have tiny micro exercises which I incorporate at different triggers. When I'm just before when I enter the shower, I have one tiny little habit. Then when I'm brushing my teeth, I continue that habit twice a day. Then once a day, I climb up 3 floors, come what may. Once a day that I do. Then in the bathroom also, I squat and get up once or twice whenever I go to the bathroom. So minimum that's twice. And then my habit of eating healthy eating is completely, I've moved to healthy eating. I will not eat carb at all. So the thing is, I prepare good, healthy, say sprouts and salads and all that. I first fill myself up with fruits and salads and all that, and then only I go to carbs. So that way, my carb count has drastically come down. I will not eat carbs. Quantity has drastically come down. So this is what I've been working on, and luckily these have become habits for me. I just cannot eat a lot of rice at all. So that's one thing which is habits which I've created. Now, what am I struggling with is done journal also I've been doing every day, but somehow I purposely stop it. Done journal, even now if I just sit down and do it, I definitely will do my daily journaling. I will continue doing, and then that day's learning and insights I love to write. I do that. Like Sukumar said, even however late in the night I'm feeling sleepy, I fall off, I do the journal. It's become a habit, but purposefully last 1 week, 10 days I stop. In between, I don't know why. I want to know that I want to communicate, I am the boss. You don't dictate to me that you have to do it, kind of a thing. So sometimes I purposely stop journaling and then I go back to journaling. So that I'm very confident that even if I stop, I can go back and do. But what I started and stopped as a habit was after my done journal or just before the done journal, my mother tongue is Kannada. So we have a group in our family where one of my uncle consistently is ready to teach, correct. He keeps sharing what we need to write every day, read every day. Despite this availability of a resource, I stopped it last year. Come what may, I'm not able to go back and learn. Maybe my time for the timing is pretty not incorrect. Fag end of the day, I push the writing. I can read, but I cannot write Kannada. So the writing the script is taking a lot of effort from my end, and I'm just stopping. That's one big blockage I'm having, which I'm not able to progress. And power platform, anything to do with technology, I'm very, very scared. Like Sanjay said, I realized I had a shift in me, and I started doing Power Automate slowly. I'm reading, I'm doing Power BI, all that. I used to do it just because Kumaran said you have to do it, you can do it. But I have this very strong mental block. You don't know technology, you have nothing to do with technology, you will not understand, you will not learn, you will not produce results. It's very strong there. But luckily for me, since I was handling this group all by myself, I had to break my head. I had to go in. Otherwise, if it were other pods, usually either it's with Sukumar or with Kumaran or with Sanjay, then the technology part, they take the lead. So I'm sitting there in the back seat and I don't do much. But here, since I had to take the responsibility and I was pushed, it shifted for me. I started realizing, especially when I taught somebody Power BI in the pod, only then I realized I know it. I can do it. I can create a report. Until then, until that day, I believed I know only a bit of here and there. I'm not very confident. So this power platform, I think I can do. The shift has happened. So that's something which I will incorporate into my daily learning.